Welcome back, or welcome to the channel. Today, I'm making a cutting board for a client to give as a wedding gift. We're going for subtle, so I've chosen to use some hard maple with a surprise inlay. This lumber was S2S, meaning it was surfaced on two sides, but in a drier climate. I'm milling it up to get out any bends or warps. My joiner is only 6 inches wide, but the boards are roughly 8 inches wide. I'm leveling off the extra 2 inches before sending it through the planer. You can make a plywood sled that would work too. Remind me to show you that trick at another time. Now that 3 sides are square with each other, I will trim the 4th side at the table side. Width really doesn't matter for this project. A lot more cutting is to come. I'm joining the gluing edges together so that if I'm off a little bit, they'll still line up without a seam. But we professionals never make that mistake. Hey, I would just like to take a minute real quick to thank today's sponsor. It's me. I'm today's sponsor. I've got some t-shirts available on my website. This one, for example, is stemmed from a table saw accident I had a few years ago. Luckily, I still have all 5. They're not pretty, but I still have them. So yeah. Keep all 5 fingers. On the back, there's my logo and QR code to my website. So if you would like to support the channel to help us grow and get more projects going through, consider visiting my website and picking up a t-shirt. I'm not the best model, but I'm all that I can afford. So, lucky you, I guess. Before sending these through the planer as a single unit again, I'll clean up the glue squeeze out and address any high spots with the hand plane. These surfaces need to be buttery smooth for the next step. Oh, I did some extra and came in with a smoothing plane even. And I surprised myself. Just checking for flat and that there are no high spots or low spots. Then using some sight sticks to check that it's not twisted. The human eye is pretty good at seeing these sort of things. You just have to have something to line with. And now to cut them into 2-inch chunks. Maple burns easily because it's so hard, but those burns will come out before finishing. Sunny had to sneak in on the action. I guess nobody came by to see her that day. Sorry there's no working audio here. I had a door-to-door salesperson come up while I was in the middle of this epic glue up. I mean, some epic stuff was missed. Did you see it? It slipped when I tightened the clamps down. At this point, the glue was getting pretty tacky, so instead of panicking, I stayed calm, and like a rational person, I got a hammer to convince it back in line. Totally not a panic move. Completely normal. I built this router sled a few years ago with adjustable fences for different thicknesses of material and dust collection at that. As you can see, works terribly. It's handy, but requires a lot of time setting up and getting level in all directions. I picked up this 2-inch cold board bit I think that's what it's called, from Bits and Bits. It's usually used on a CNC to resurface the table surfaces, but it works great for this end grain. Way faster than the 3/4 inch straight bit that I had before. I'm using my sled to cut final dimensions and keep it square. I use this blue tape to keep from fraying the edges. It worked pretty well. Again, the burning will come out in sanding. Because this is the last cutting board I intend on making, I had to make it special. Since this is a wedding gift, why not do a hard inlay? This was a nerve-wracking process because this is the first time I've ever attempted this, and on a piece that's this far along, I could have easily messed up hours of work. But it came out great. I was debating on including an initial, but the client thought it would be a little much. Another first, steam bending. I wasn't prepared, so I used a vacuum attachment and my handheld steam cleaner. I mean, it worked, but I wouldn't want to build a large project with this process. I left the material wide so I could get away with one bend and just cut it in half. A little test fit and some trimming before gluing it in. If you're an 80s kid like me, you'll be glad to know that this canary wood I'm using for the inlay smells like nostalgic Play-Doh and midday cartoons. You know the smell. This shot's actually before I trim the excess, but you see it's a snug fit. I actually forgot to film profiling the bottom and cutting the juice groove. It always stresses me out. I'm using a cove bit to make the hand grips on the edges. And to add a 3/8 roundover. These new bits from Bits and Bits work great. No affiliation, just straight facts. With every round over, you want to leave a ghost line to clean up when sanding. I left a little more than a ghost line, so I'm blending it with a block plane. And sanding. Why did I record this much sanding? Here is a water pop of what the inlay will look like when finished. Using a card scraper, I'm able to get an ultra smooth finish after sanding up to 220 grit. I'm not the best with this tool, but it really helps. When the project is nearing the home stretch, you got to brand it and be proud of your work. I keep a tub of mineral oil under a kitchen cabinet just to let these types of things soak. I left this in roughly 10 hours to make sure it got well hydrated. Yeah, that's a little excessive. For the finishing touch, I'm applying some walrus oil cutting board wax. It takes about a week to completely cure, but I have a few weeks before delivery. The client wanted subtle, and I think we pulled off subtle, yet with a special little pizzazz. That canary wood almost blends in with the maple, gives it a nice little pop. Hey, thanks for watching. Leave a comment with your thoughts on this project. Consider subscribing, and if you're interested, there's a link below to my website. If the merchandise takes off, I'll consider adding more products. See you next time.